What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh, this is Overlanding Now, and today we're making the big debut of the 2022 Ram Power Wagon. I almost said Subaru Outback Wilderness because it's in my blood. This vehicle is something we ordered months and months ago, and believe it or not, this is a replacement of our Jeep Gladiator. There's a bunch of reasons why we think this vehicle is going to give us a lot more capability as well as a bit more range than what the Gladiator did. We're going to talk about some of the specs of the vehicle, but more importantly, some of the items that we've already put on, and then what we're going to change here in the next upcoming weeks. Stay tuned. Okay, so first things first, what I want to talk about is the specifications of this vehicle and why we thought it was right for our family as we decide to do this full-size Overland build. Everything up until this point has been a much smaller vehicle, and obviously if you see this thing behind me, it feels like it stands 10 feet tall. And I think it might actually, once that tent's up there, stand close to 10 feet tall. It is so massive. But the ground clearance of the Ram Power Wagon right out of the factory is 14.2 inches. The approach angle is 29.4 degrees, the departure angle of 26 degrees, as well as a breakover angle of 23.1 degrees. Now, the length of this thing is absolutely massive. We're looking at 238 inches long, as well as 79 inches wide. All of this is much bigger than anything we've ever done before, as well as a 6'3" bed length. So if you can imagine trying to fit this school bus of a vehicle down a trail, it is going to be much more different for my wife navigating this big beast than navigating the Outback Wilderness that she's been used to driving as of late. But what I want to do is, those specifications are all great, but since we've already made some modifications, I want to move around the vehicle and show you what it is that we've done now, and then give you a little bit of insight on a couple of the things that we're going to be doing real soon. Okay, so starting out up front, if you're familiar with the Ram Power Wagon, then you know that it comes with a 12,000 pound Warn winch already installed from the factory. And although that's not a huge deal, it's nice to not have to spend the 800 bucks, I think it is, on that winch, or maybe 900 bucks, and it already comes factory installed. So what we've done with the vehicle before we even picked it up, what we had was the BFG KM3s installed on the AEV Salta wheels. And we did that right out of the gate because we knew that the 33-inch tire was not going to be nearly big enough, and going to a 37 gives us an additional 2 inches of lift. So we haven't even done anything to the vehicle yet, and we're already running at 16.2 roughly inches of ground clearance, which, if you think about it in terms of other vehicles, is a massive amount of ground clearance. So when it comes to the suspension, I have left everything stock, and I plan on, honestly, leaving everything stock for as long as I can. And the reason for that is the suspension that comes on the Power Wagon is the Bilstein shocks, and they're fine for right now. I can't imagine seeing myself needing to lift this vehicle any more than it is. Already driving down the highway, it's almost impossible to see out over the hood of the vehicle. So keeping it where it's at, I mean, if you look, I'm almost 6 foot. I'm close to 6 foot. But this is almost as tall as me. It is a massive truck. And if you've never stood next to one of these things, it's probably hard for you to really conceptualize how big this thing is. So the new 37s, the Salta wheels from AEV, allow these tires to fit without any rub at full turn. So I did a few tests just to make sure that that was actually accurate, and I have no rub on the inside sway bar end link whatsoever with the 37s on there. And I'm gonna be honest, I thought these things were gonna sound like a tractor trailer driving down the road, but we picked this car up and immediately drove it all the way down here to Florida, where it's beautiful and sunny, to see some of our family. So we've already put over 1,000 miles on these tires, and I will be honest with you and say that they are absolutely road quiet. This truck, I have driven a lot of Cadillacs, and this truck is my favorite truck I've ever owned, hands down, better than the Gladiator. That comes with the towing capacity. That's because of everything that this thing has, the Gladiator has. but this thing is bigger, it's stronger, and with that V8, it's going to limit us a lot less on the things that we can tow, but also the places we can go. Okay, so much like the Gladiator, I wanted to go with the Smart Cap from RSI. The only difference this time is I went with the side that has the glass. I believe the first one I had was the Evo A and this is the Evo C, or I might have that backwards, I'm not entirely sure. But this has a window in it. And when we're camping, we want to be able to, if somebody's sleeping in there, having ventilation and being able to open this window is going to be fantastic. The one thing that we did give up is we used to have Molly panels right here on the Gladiator. And all of our cooking stuff was hanging right here, so we could reach up and grab our utensils. All of that stuff was super easy to get to. And not having that kind of sucks, but I think for everything else that it's going to give us with the windows and the ventilation, I'm happy with it so far, but I haven't had it on a true overland trip. We're just driving across the country in it. But the Smart Cap for us was absolutely essential because I think this is the most versatile and well-made cap on the market. So if you're looking to put a Smart Cap either on a Gladiator or a Power Wagon, you got to understand you're probably going to wait a little bit, but the wait is worth it because these things are absolutely rock solid, and any truck that I have after this, I can foresee myself getting an RSI Smart Cap. Hopefully the wind's not getting you too much, but what's going on back here right now is a complete rat's nest. And that's because we take a lot of stuff when we travel. And not everything's necessary all the time, but a lot of times it is. But this disaster that you're seeing is the perfect reason and the opportunity for me to explain why the Power Wagon was right for us. This is a week-long trip with all four of us. Now, the interior of this vehicle is so much bigger, so it gives Cohen a lot more space to sit. As a family of four, as we're traveling and we're trying to go greater distances for longer periods of time, we need more space. Now, granted, this vehicle is probably not going to be able to get every single place that the Gladiator could, because I don't have it anymore. But there is very few things that are going to get in this truck's way. If you have a good spotter, you're confident in your driving ability, you should have no issues getting where you need to get in this vehicle. And that's why this truck bed's 6'3". And there is massive amounts of space. In the Gladiator, we had a 5-foot bed, and that really limited us on being able to sleep inside. The only one that really could comfortably was Cohen, but we had so much other stuff packed up on top, it was never a good opportunity for us to use it the way we had intended using it with the deck system. On this vehicle, we are going to build a custom 80/20 aluminum full drawer and platform system. We're gonna have onboard water, we're gonna have our compressor, we're gonna have a water pump, we're gonna have an outdoor shower. All of this stuff is going to come over time, but based on what we have right here, this footprint, everything, I don't know if you can even see the refrigerator up there, but everything is going to go on top of the refrigerator. That's gonna be the highest point, and it's gonna come right across. We're gonna have big slides, we're gonna have a platform space for somebody to sleep up top, we're gonna have a water tank, all of that. This vehicle will be able to be the ultimate long-range adventure vehicle. With a 30-gallon gas tank, it gets about the same amount of range, a little bit more than the Gladiator, but if we're towing something, that Gladiator got really poor gas mileage, where this, towing a 3,000 or 4,000 pound trailer or something like our Teardrop, we will have no issues getting across the country in a much quicker amount of time because there will be less stops. So this whole setup back here is going to be a big project. It's not small, but with all the vehicles that we've had in the past and everything that we've done, we've learned a lot. We've gotten a lot of information about what we want to do, and now we know exactly how we want to have this vehicle set up, and it should be able to take us far and wide. So that's pretty much all that I have today to go over the Power Wagon. This is kind of a new thing for us. We just got the vehicle. We got rid of the Gladiator. We kind of did it undercover a little bit because I didn't know exactly what I was going to think of this. But now that we have it, we've driven it over 1,000 miles. It's an absolute beast. Having a Hemi is so nice, and being in the Florida sunshine might just make it a little better, but I would say that if you're looking for full-size Overland, that's what you're going towards, because I feel like a lot of things are going full-size Overland. This vehicle with disconnecting sway bars, lockers, four-wheel low, it's a big truck. It is a really big truck, but I feel so good being back in a big truck. I've had big trucks for many years. This thing makes me feel good again, so I'm excited to get this build started. What we have is much different than what it's gonna be, but I appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope that if you're looking to get a Power Wagon for your full-size Overland build, some of this will be helpful. We're gonna start a full build series about this vehicle on the channel, so you'll be able to link and to see all the videos that we have as we go through the various steps. We appreciate your time, we appreciate you watching. Like and subscribe if you're into that, and we'll see you on the next one.